All right, we're gonna talk about some changes on Disney Cruise Line that we noticed.
Differences since we've cruised before.
Right. We've been on a handful or two of cruises on Disney Cruise Line before, and so we tried not to. We tried to be really intentional about not comparing things to the way that they used to be in our cruise vlogs.
Yeah, I wanted to make a conscious effort to not say, we used to do this, or it used to be like this.
And I'm sure that there were a few times that we slipped up, but I didn't want to dwell on those changes, and this is different now, in those videos. Now, this video is going to be all about those changes. And we were going to do like a summary wrap-up video, and
this is kind of it.
Yeah, this is kind of it. If you have, any questions about anything, leave them in a comment. I'm gonna link to some of my friends' summary videos because they have posted theirs, and I'm just gonna put those in the description box because some of our thoughts are similar, and I think you'll get the gist from those.
Some of the things they said, I thought, yeah, I agree with that. Yeah. I agree.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know why we want to go over
beat a dead horse.
Go over some of the same territory again when somebody else has done an excellent job.
Yeah. So we're going to talk about something different. We're going to talk about differences, changes. There were a lot of changes. Mm-hmm. And, with the huge pause on cruising and then cruising resuming, changes were to be expected. Some of them we liked, some of them we didn't like, and some of them didn't really make a difference to us one way or the other.
Right.
So I'm just going to sort of list some off, and we're going to talk about them. Mm-hmm. Briefly or not, I don't know, we'll see, but we're going to talk about some changes that we noticed, starting with the ones that we did like. So the first change that we noticed once we got on board was the muster drill.
Oh, that was great. The muster drill used to consume a considerable amount of time. You and 2,000 of your newest friends would meet out on board. Typically it seemed like we were in the sun, or possibly in the rain, or
it's always hot,
dining area,
and very humid and very crowded. So you're crammed up against somebody else, and they're just telling you to squish
together, and then
back,
line, and they want the short ones in the front, and the
everybody
tall ones in the
shuffle
back,
down,
and keep pushing together.
Not anymore.
Oh yeah, and you were already hot, and you were already tired, and then they want to stand there and yell at you with a bullhorn.
Yeah, and of course, no one's listening. There's the one guy who's standing on someone else's foot, and there's the kid who's pulling on someone's dress who isn't their mom. And so the new muster drill
is great. You get on, get your phone out, get the app up. There's a cast member stationed at each
muster station,
and they basically walk you through how to enter the data that shows where it is and you're there, and you appeared with your family.
Yeah, and everyone in your sailing party showed up. Everyone checked in at the muster station. Everyone knows where they're supposed to be in case of an emergency. And then there's the talk that they do at, I think it's 4 o'clock is when they did it on our sailing.
And so everything shuts down. The bars close. Everything stops.
Including the elevators. And then if you're in your room, you can hear it. If you're watching television, then you can see it. There's a video that plays that I thought was so helpful.
Yeah.
I loved this change. And
I really did too.
I hope.
I learned so much.
I hope we never go back to the way it was before.
Yeah.
Because I learned so much during that muster drill than I have on any of the other previous muster drills.
And it was just less intrusive. Less disturbing.
The next change we noticed was the card sleeve on the lanyard. And this is her favorite change of all of them.
This is really silly, but I'm on vacation. I don't care if I look like a vacation nerd. I, wear my shorts and t-shirt proudly with my lanyard and my room key, my key to the world.
The card sleeve on the lanyard used to be so tight. Trying to shove
my big fat fingers in there and get that card out.
It was fitted to the size of the card. And we would try to put our key to the world card and our coffee card and our beer mug token and maybe a driver's license into that pocket. So it was stretched really tight. And so trying to get your fingers in there to get the card out that you needed, you usually tore open your little plastic sleeve.
Yeah.
But they've changed it, And I don't know if this is an accident. I don't know if they did it on purpose. I don't know if it's a temporary or permanent change, but it's a little bit wider now.
And it makes a big difference.
And it makes such a big difference.
Maybe the other ones were on back order and they couldn't get them. I hope they can't get them back. So I know that's a simple thing. But I'm getting in that little sleeve to get my beer token out or to get something else out.
Well, you get the coffee card out at least once every day.
Yeah.
Because you have to have the coffee card so that they can stamp it. And sometimes you give it to them for a free coffee. Now, your Key to the World card lives in there, and it never has to come out of the sleeve.
Because you can just hold it up to the door or hold it up to their
You hold it to
reader.
scan. You don't have to swipe to scan. So giving them the beer token, which they take away and give you a beer mug, or you give them the coffee card, you have to, ouch. So anyway, the lanyard pocket made a big difference to her. Another change we noticed that we really liked was happy hour.
Oh, happy hour was great. I've never seen happy hour before, and I don't know if I was asleep.
On the ship.
Yeah.
I don't think they've, well,
Or if it was a new thing.
when I've sailed, they've never had happy hour. And we didn't just have one. There were happy hours in every bar on lounge on the ship.
At different times.
So they had a happy hour in the morning.
French
at
Quarter.
French Quarter. And you could get a coffee and 2 beignets for, was it $4.50 or
Yeah.
$5 or something? It was
Yeah.
really cheap. They had another happy hour in French Quarter later in the day, I think 10 o'clock at night.
Mm-hmm.
After hours, bars all had their own happy hour, and then the one up by the pool, Signals.
So they had drink specials that they would run at different times for different bars, and you could see those different happy hours. I loved that.
Yes, and
I've
it
never
appeared.
seen those before.
It appeared as an event in the Daily Navigator on the app, and so you could see it. And if you tapped on it, you could see what the happy hour was for that specific place on the ship. And so it wasn't always the same. Like each bar had its own happy hour special. The special was the same for that bar every day. And I think Signals was at 4 o'clock. Cadillac was at 8 p.m.
Azure, I think, was like at 10 or 11.
I think Azure was at 9
I know it was late.
or 11. I think you're right. I think it was 11. So I think Cadillac was at 8. I think French Quarter was at 10, and then Azure was at 11. I
And
think
the
that's
pub
right.
had one too, didn't it?
Yes.
So several of the bars, maybe every one of them, had some sort of happy hour every day where they had a drink special or several of their drinks were on special.
I don't think that Cove Cafe had a happy hour.
I don't think so either.
I think that's the
I don't
only
think so
one
either.
that didn't have one.
But they have a lot of coffee people going in there getting
That's true.
coffee all the time. They couldn't run a special.
But I loved that change.
Yeah.
And that's something I hope sticks around.
I hope it stays.
was so much fun.
Happy hour was great.
Because you could see the happy hour crowd, and it was really entertaining.
Yeah.
I thought it was fun. I liked it. I loved that change. The next change might be a little bit controversial, but these are our opinions, and we are entitled to our own opinions. We really liked the change in Cabanas. It used to be a buffet, and now it is a walk-up.
Yeah, to me it's like an old-fashioned cafeteria where you're on this side of the glass and they're on that side of the glass, and you know, as you're walking past, you point at what you want and then they will serve you, and you can tell them, oh, I want 1 roll, or I want 2 rolls, or I want 3 butters, or I want 2 big spoonfuls of jelly, and they would get it for you. If there was a particular piece of chicken that you wanted, you could point it out and they would get it for you. I liked that.
I liked that the food was sanitary. I liked that it was clean. It wasn't messy. I think it was even faster than it has been in the past. I have never really been a fan of Cabanas just because it's so chaotic.
It's a free-for-all, or used to be for me, and so I enjoyed this much better.
I really enjoyed it. I liked it a lot, and I have no complaints.
And they didn't ever say you can't have that, you've already had one of those.
No, you just have to communicate with them and tell them what you want. It's that easy. I really enjoyed that. I thought it was great. Going along the lines of food, Palo Brunch was a little bit different because there was no buffet. Palo Brunch was not a walk-up. Palo Brunch was off of the menu.
And I like that you get to sit down and they're going to go and get it for you. So I didn't have to get up and go to the buffet, but I didn't like it because some of the selections just weren't there, or you couldn't individualize things. So that was a like and a dislike, but I think I more liked it than I disliked it because I wanted to be able to sit during the brunch and really be able to relax.
It was sort of slim in the number of options as opposed to what it used to be before when it was a buffet. And I'll link our Palo Brunch and Dinner video because that one's already up, and so you can go look at that if you want to hear more about our thoughts on that. But that was a difference that we noticed. And personally, I liked not having to get up in my formal or semi-formal or my dress, you know, because we get dressed up to go to Palo. I liked not having to get up and carry a plate to the table in my dress. I liked that. Yeah. So that was a change that we liked. Here's another maybe controversial change. In the past, they have had live musicians playing music in the Quiet Cove. And I don't have a problem with live music. I like live music. My problem with the live music in the Quiet Cove is that it's too loud. I don't think that they need amplifiers. I think if it's one person with a guitar, I don't think they need a microphone. I think that live music can be very well done, but it seems like it's always been just too much, too loud, too distracting in the Quiet Cove.
Yeah, that part. That's that quiet part of that Quiet Cove that makes us think that it used to be too loud. So I didn't miss that either.
Yeah, they didn't have that, and I didn't miss it at all.
I did find that some places on deck it seemed like they had the background music turned up pretty loud, and so going to Quiet Cove and there not being live music was really helpful to kind of help keep you down, relaxed.
Yes. Now the last change that we're going to talk about that we liked is tipping was slightly different for us. Now I think this was sort of a beta test for us because it did change
partway through our cruise.
Well, right at the end. I think we had 2 or 3 days left in the sailing and they changed it back to paper. But for the majority of our sailing, we were tipping
with the app.
On the app. And at first I didn't know what to make of it. You know, day 1, I was like, wait, how does this work? And day 3, I loved it. I thought it was spectacular because they never brought a piece of paper to you in an envelope. You know, you give them your room number and they would charge to your room. On your app, you can see here's your, you know, outstanding bill, and you have until this time to add as much tip as you would like.
If you want to add a tip, otherwise, I think it was 2 hours.
Yeah.
The bill closed out and you couldn't add anything else to it.
Right. But I really enjoyed the digital tipping.
Yeah, I did too.
Because, you know, they keep saying they're on this tirade to save the world and they're saving paper. And by not having those receipts, that, you know, I didn't have to worry about an ink pen not having ink in it and, you know, where's mine in my bag? And oh no, I left it in the room. I really liked it because I didn't have to worry about it right now. Like if I'm in a hurry and I want to take my drink somewhere else, I can tip when I get there, or I can tip until 2 hours later. I thought it was great.
I know that one day we were out on deck, and we spent the whole day on deck. She would go get food, and I would go to the bar and get some drinks, and I would carry the drinks back, and by the time I'd get back down there, you know, we were able to get on the app and provide the tip, and you didn't have to stand at the bar and wait on a piece of paper to be, you know, generated so that you could sign the tab and provide your tip.
Yeah, I thought it was very convenient. I really liked that change.
I like that.
So now we're going to get into some of the changes that we did not like.
And we didn't care for as much.
Yeah. Starting with the app itself.
I think I spend enough time on a computer and on a phone application during regular days that when I'm at sea and I'm on vacation, I would really rather not have to be dedicated to that phone app. Sure, I carry my phone so I can get a, you know, picture if I see something I want to get a picture or a video of, but I don't want to have to, you know, be intricately involved with my phone for my vacation.
I understand the idea behind using the app as a navigator, as a way to book appointments with guest services, as a way to book your placeholder, as a way to communicate with the people in your sailing party. I appreciate being able to communicate with her through my phone.
If we get separated,
however,
but I don't want to look at every Every menu has to be looked at on the app. You know, whether you're at a bar or a restaurant, they want you to pull all of that up off the app.
Yes. So I felt like they were relying too much on the app for things that I shouldn't have to use the app for.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like booking a placeholder is a simple thing. All I have to do, or all I should have to do, is fill out a slip of paper.
We used to give a card.
Yeah, wasn't there like a little slip, and you just put it in a Dropbox, and you would get a confirmation that your placeholder has been booked. Instead of, and that took,
and it worked.
10 minutes to fill out the piece of paper instead of a 45-minute conversation with guest services on the app.
Yeah, back and forth with guest services.
Yeah. After waiting maybe 20 minutes to get through the queue to actually talk to somebody in guest services. So I understand what they're trying to do with the app.
But they're not there yet.
No.
They got a ways to go.
There are too many glitches with the app, too many problems, too many failures, and I just think that there's too much on the app that they're relying on, and I didn't
And
like
it's not
it.
perfected yet. And so this is growing pains probably. It will be better. But still, I just don't like having to carry my phone all the time. One of the people that we cruise with was really upset about it. He does not like to have to open his phone for all those things.
Going hand in hand with the app that we didn't like, I really missed the paper navigator. And I know that I have said this,
and so has everybody else,
a million times. I don't understand why I can't have a paper navigator format. You know, that at a glance for the whole day. I want the whole day at a glance, and I can't see the whole day at one glance on the app. It's an infinite scroll. If you watched my cruise vlogs all the way to the end, you saw that I added the Daily Navigator scroll to the end of every video.
And they're long.
They're so long. And it's
so you can't really see what's where and what overlaps by just looking at a glance. You have to scroll through, and then it takes a lot of cognitive effort.
And a lot of battery for your phone, and you have to be connected to the Wi-Fi, and there's so many things, and I just miss having the piece of paper in my hand that I can see the whole day all at once. There was so much information on the Daily Navigator, and what I'd like to see instead of the paper navigator, because I don't think they're ever going to bring it back, can I have a PDF download? If they would email me a PDF download of the activities for my cruise before we sail, I will print it at home before I go.
Yeah.
But I miss having the at a glance for the whole day.
Right.
So I didn't like that change at all. I'm adamant about it. I didn't like it. Here's another change that I didn't like, and I don't know if you noticed this or not. There were only 2 shows done by the Walt Disney Theater cast.
Right.
I really missed that 3rd show, and we were on the ship for 2 weeks.
I suspect that probably won't last. I think we'll get that 3rd show back.
I think you're probably right. But that was a change that I didn't like.
No,
I feel like that adds a lot of value to the cruise, because you feel like you are getting a Broadway ticket to a Broadway show, and we missed one.
And it's right there in your resort. All you have to do is, go upstairs, downstairs, or to the other end of the ship.
Right. I don't know. I missed it. I think that cast was wonderful on our sailing, and I loved the show that we got to see, because we missed one. We missed Frozen. Frozen? Yeah, we missed Frozen. But
we watched part of it in the room on the TV.
But that was not the cast that was on the ship.
No, it wasn't the live show.
Right. It was a pre-recorded performance. And so we got to see part of Frozen, a musical spectacular, but not with the cast that was on the ship, and I missed that. So I wish we could have had all 3 shows, because typically there are 3, but,
Not this time.
Not this time, not for us. So I missed that. Stay in the theater for this one. We didn't have popcorn.
No popcorn.
No popcorn buckets.
No popcorn bucket.
No concession stand.
Nope, none whatsoever.
No preludes.
Nope.
I really missed
that.
The movie snacks. You have to have a movie snack. I really missed the movie snacks. Now, I was lucky, because I sent you to the store on embarkation day that morning because I needed something.
Yeah.
Contact case is what I needed. I forgot to pack a contact case.
So she had them in her eyes, but then she could never take them out.
Right. So I sent her to the store on the morning before we boarded the ship, and she went and she got me a couple of contact cases.
She had the contact solution.
Yep. Thank goodness.
Nowhere to put them.
But I sent her to the store, and she came back with popcorn and Bugles, and what else did you have? Chips?
Yeah, I had some Pringles.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we had movie snacks, but we had to bring them, and there was no popcorn. And it was...
We like the popcorn bucket, particularly on a Merry Christmas time, Very merry time cruise. Those are great.
Well, okay, here's the thing. You can buy a holiday-themed popcorn bucket that you may not be able to find at Walt Disney World because it's sold out. You could probably find it in the store or on the ship. And here's the thing. I love popcorn. I will get my money's worth out of a popcorn bucket. Yeah. From the refills.
The refills, yeah.
I think it's $1.50 for a popcorn bucket refill. I will get my money's worth. Okay. Yeah. I love popcorn, and I really missed that. That was a change that I didn't like. It was so disappointing. I understand why.
Why it can't be that way.
I get it, but I don't like it, okay? Just because I understand doesn't mean I have to like it. And I didn't. I didn't like it at all. One more change that we didn't like.
What's that?
And this one was both of us. The merchandise selection.
Oh, it was so...
dismal.
Pitiful. There wasn't any.
No.
There were a handful, like 3, 4, maybe 5 things. There was the red... metal Tervis type mug,
but that wasn't even in the shop.
No,
that was.
It was in the shop.
Was it?
Yeah, but the shop sold out first, and then there was.
They had a holiday tumbler with the holiday characters all the way around the cup, and I only saw it at the different bars and lounges around the ship. So you could buy it at French Quarter, and it came with like I want to say a necklace, but it
wasn't in the shop.
It came with like a lanyard that you could wear around your neck. Why you would want to do that with a cup, I don't understand, but that's how they sold it. Yeah. And I think it was, did Sandy say it was $16 or $17 with a drink in it?
Yeah. And then
that's a good deal.
And so maybe you're right. Maybe it was never in the shop.
But it sold out very quickly. And then in the shop, they had one holiday sweatshirt, one shirt, and one cup. Now they have lots of ornaments because they know people buy ornaments as like or souvenirs for Christmas, and they put it on their tree, and that's a cool thing. But I was so disappointed they didn't have a holiday spirit jersey. They didn't have a holiday pin, I don't think. No holiday hat. It was really disappointing, and like the regular selection of their merchandise just seemed really slim. They had a lot of like 5 different shirts. It just seemed like what they had was very slim pickings. And some of the merchandise that they had, we had already seen in the shop that they had put, the pop-up shop that they put at Disney Springs. And so I was just really disappointed. So those are the changes that we didn't like at all. And I'm sure that the popcorn buckets will come back when it is deemed safe for us to be around each other again.
I'm sure the merchandise will come back.
When they're able to unload the ships.
Yeah, when they're able to get stuff out of the containers.
Yeah, so I am sure that those are not permanent changes. I'm almost certain that those are not permanent changes, but
we're really hopeful those aren't permanent changes.
Yeah, I've got my fingers crossed and everything, just because I don't want it to continue to be like that. And then there are a few changes that we noticed that didn't really make a difference to us one way or the other. Now I know that there were, there were no kids on our sailing. But we don't have kids under 12. So, that didn't make a difference to us. And
kids are pretty well sequestered anyway on a Disney cruise. They have the clubs, and a lot of kids, once they get into the club, they don't want to leave the club. But I think they said we had 20 kids.
We had 27 kids under the age of 18.
So between 12 and 18, because you had to be vaccinated to be on board. So that's all we had. And I know that there were a couple of kids, teenage girls, that hung out in one hallway, and they were almost always there, doing different things.
Playing cards or drawing. I think
Yeah.
at one point they had like a board game. They're just sitting on the floor. Of course they're masked, but like they were just hanging out with each other outside of the kids club.
Because they didn't go into the kids club, but they preferred to be there, which was fine.
And they weren't in the way. So that did make a difference to us. We had to ask for a paper menu.
Yeah.
At
least they were there. At least they were available.
Yeah. As irritating as it is that they don't have the paper Navigator, they did at least have a paper menu for the people like our friend who don't like to have their phone while they're on vacation.
Refused.
Yeah, so we had paper menus every night. Did we get that stack?
Yeah.
It's over here.
And we didn't get one from every night, but we have collected quite a few.
There. So here's our stack of paper menus. We've got Animator's palette. I think this was our black tie menu. That was a Tiana's Place menu. You know, we did have this option, and I really appreciate having that option. Asking for it didn't detract from the experience for me.
Yeah, that didn't bother me to ask for it.
It wasn't
an
an
inconvenience. By like the third or fourth night, he knew we would want the paper.
Right. And I think that's why it didn't make me dislike it.
They made it easy for us.
Yeah. Our serving staff did a really good job making it better for us. Okay, here's something I noticed, and I don't know if you noticed this or not. On previous sailings, Disney Cruise Line will have variety acts or guest performers on their sailings. So if you're on a 7-night sailing, there are your three Walt Disney Theater Broadway style shows that are performed by the Disney Theater cast. So if it's a 7-night sailing, 3 of the nights in the Walt Disney Theater are taken up by your Walt Disney Theater cast. The other nights on your sailing are
variety acts.
Yes, guest performers. They will bring on, I don't know, a circus show or a jump rope crew. Yeah, a juggler, a comedian,
another singer,
musician. And so they will bring on these variety acts, and typically they will do one family show at like the designated time. So they do 2 shows in one evening.
In the main theater.
Right. So if you have like late dinner, you do the first theater show. If you have early dinner, you do the second theater show. So they perform opposite of dinner, basically. And so I don't remember them ever doing multiple shows in the Walt Disney Theater, because usually they'll do their family show, and then later on in the cruise, they might do an adult show.
In Azure
or at the Tube, but they'll do it later at night after dinner. So it's an adult-only sort of setting, and it's an adult show with maybe a little bit more grown-up jokes, or maybe some different lyrics to some different songs, or maybe it's just the ambiance that makes it an adult show. But these acts on our cruise
were in the main theater.
They repeated in the main theater, but they had different performances. So they, like, I'm thinking specifically the circus show.
Yeah.
I think they performed twice in the Walt Disney Theater.
Shimmer.
They had a Christmas show or a holiday show, and I loved it. I thought it was so fun. So I really liked that change of seeing the same performers more than once, because we spent a lot of time with them on the ship, because they got on with us and they got off with us. They didn't get on and then get off and like
fly home.
Cabo San Lucas. They got on and we were with them the whole 14 nights. So we got to like meet them in the Cove Cafe, and we could see them at dinner, and there were a bunch of times that we, like, one of the circus performers we met in the pool.
Yeah.
And she got to talk to him for
a couple different times.
A long time. And so I really liked getting a lot of time with those performers. I thought that was interesting. I liked that change.
Yeah, and that was fine, but it didn't add to or detract from mine. I noticed that change, but yeah.
And then the last change we're going to talk about that didn't make a difference to you, but it makes a difference to me, is the Panama lectures on sea days. On previous sailings, we have had a man named Captain Puckett on the Panama Canal cruises, and he used to do a lecture talking about a different aspect of the Panama Canal, how it was built, when it was built, why it was built, the impacts of World War II. So he would do a different lecture every sea day in the Walt Disney Theater. And he was not on our sailing. There was no lecture. There was no build up to the Panama Canal.
No Ken Puckett this time.
And you didn't know, or you didn't care, because you've done it before.
Right.
I have done it before, but I think only once. And so I would have liked to have gone back to do it again. I was disappointed just because I felt like we all knew we're going to the Panama Canal. That's why we booked the cruise. But if we didn't know that when we got on, it almost felt like we were just sailing to nowhere, you know, because there was no other like build up to it.
Yeah. He would do a 1 hour show usually at 10 o'clock on sea days, and if for some reason you couldn't get to the show at 10 o'clock, you could watch it in your room. I think they only showed it that one day. I don't think they kept those tapes. And so as long as you kept up, then you could, because he kind of presented it in chronological order of how the Panama Canal was built. They didn't do anything like that this time.
No build up, no education, no background, and I missed that.
They had the narrator the day of the canal cruise, and I think you can see from, you know, one of our cruise day vlogs, it was loud and you couldn't hardly make it out, and then the narrator was sort of spotty, where he might talk for 3 or 4 minutes
and then nothing for half an hour.
Exactly. So you never knew when to listen.
Right. So I missed that. Having Captain Puckett on the ship adds value to me.
I really liked watching Captain Puckett in the theater, and then on Panama Canal Day he would be in Cabanas. And he would just stay in there pretty much all day long, so that as people would come through, if they had a question, because he was not legally able to be the narrator, the country of Panama provides the narrator for that day. But then when people come through, they know him, he's on the same cruise ship, he's very approachable, and they could ask him anything, and he would you know, talk with them for a few minutes. So that part I did miss. But I know it meant more to you than it did to me.
Yeah. Well, because I had only done it once.
Yeah. But I would do it again.
The whole cruise?
Oh yeah. In a heartbeat. If I could do it again, I certainly would.
Me too.
I loved it.
I thought it was a great cruise. I had so much fun. There were moments where it was less than magical, but that happens with every vacation.
Sure.
You go to Disney World, and sometimes some moments are less than magical.
Sure.
You do any vacation anywhere else that's not Disney, and you might have some moments that are less than magical. But overall, it was a wonderful vacation.
It was a great vacation, and I would do it again.
Without hesitation. 100%. Yeah, it made me excited to cruise again. You know, after such a long time without sailing, I was so happy, grateful,
and
thankful.
I thought the cast members were happy to see us. There were several that recognized us, and I know on Panama Canal Day during the crossing, I like to have some piece of memorabilia, and so this time I chose that sweatshirt, and I got everybody to sign it. And what was so interesting is some people who signed is like, I remember signing something for you before.
Yeah. So it was a wonderful cruise with a bunch of wonderful cast.
Eager to have us back, trying to deliver the very best service that they could.
The food was wonderful.
Marvelous.
The weather was fantastic. We've been on a Panama Canal cruise in April, and it was so hot. I thought we were all gonna die. But this was November, early November, and it was not so hot.
It was very mild.
It was a little humid when we got down to Panama and Cartagena, but after that, like getting into Galveston was cold.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Once we got through the canal and we came back this way, you could feel.
The weather was a little bit
definite weather
windy
change.
And rainy, but it wasn't so bad. But I just thought,
I think we had some rain every day.
Yes.
We had a little rain
after the canal.
After the canal, I think we had a little bit of rain almost every day. I remember we were out at the pool one day, and Mark, our pool guy, was telling everybody, you know, to duck and cover because it's gonna rain.
It's gonna rain. You're gonna get wet.
And so we just got in the pool.
Well, what we did was we lifted up the seats on the chairs, because there are those like cushions, and so they're not like the blue chairs that are mesh, but they're an actual cushion that soak up rainwater like a sponge. So we just kind of lifted the cushions up and pushed the chairs back under cover, and then pushed our stuff under the chairs so they wouldn't get wet, and then we got in the pool.
Yeah. And a few other people got in the pool with us.
He was right. We were going to get wet.
And it wasn't a thunderstorm. It was just rain.
Just rain.
Yeah.
It wasn't so bad. It was fine.
Mm-hmm.
But it was a wonderful cruise. Wonderful cast. Wonderful food.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Great seas.
Yes. And I can't wait to
Very
go
seas.
again.
Yeah, I can't wait to go again.
Yeah.
Too.
So.
Any cruise, any length, any destination.
Yeah. Wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's it for today. We do have, or I do have, a couple of other videos relating to cruise stuff that are going to be coming out in the coming days. But I think that's all you're going to see her in for now. So I think you'll see her in a video maybe next week. So I think that's going to be it. You guys will see us in another video really, really soon.
Bye.
Bye. You have to have that out.
Sorry.
She kicked me. Ow! She kicked me! Oh, gosh.